Okay, great. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Reed. I'm the director of BSU Senior College, or Bridgewater State University Senior College. Today we are having this event. It is called What is Senior College? And it's a little bit of a different format from our normal information sessions. Normally we provide a short overview of the senior college, and then we invite our instructors to give brief plugs for their courses. And today we are trying something a little bit different in that it's really just me here today and my colleague Kathleen to just, provide you with an overview and talk a little bit in more depth about what is senior college, why would you want to participate, how you can be successful and get the most out of senior college, and also a little bit just more in depth about the program itself. What is it that we do and why do we do it? So that's why we're here today. For anyone that's logging in just now, I'd like you to write in the chat your name, where you're from, and one thing that you're enjoying this summer. I always like to just look at this, and it gives me a better sense of who is finding us and who is here and who's ready to learn with us this fall. So good afternoon. Okay, so I'm just going to pull up my notes here, and we can go ahead and get started. Okay, so we are living in a remarkable time. People are living longer than ever before. On average, today, we are living 34 years longer than our great grandparents. Just consider that for a moment. This means that we have an entire second adult lifetime that has been added to our lifespan, which is extraordinary. So, working with a team of colleagues, we have planned and created and implemented this dynamic university program that improves active aging and helps BSU as an institution, along with our faculty, students, and staff members, to become more engaged in a meaningful way with older adults in our service region. So we began the senior college at the bequest of our president, Fred Clark, in the fall of 2019. And we started off, we hadn't done it before. We looked at other programs in the region. We met with seniors in the community. We met with people that were involved with the university in other capacities and other volunteer ways. And we decided to begin the program by offering 8 courses in person at the Bridgewater Public Library. Unfortunately, space is at a high premium in our university on campus during the day because we have a large, commuter population, and we have just a busy, student body. So we decided to have the classes at the Bridgewater Public Library, and they were a great partner in letting us do that. And we were really successful. We were really happy with how the first semester went. We had classes that were robustly enrolled, and some of you that participated that first semester will remember we had 50 people sort of, close quarters in a room together in the library. And then, of course, we had planned to begin to offer courses again in the spring of 2020 in March. Our semesters go from September to December, and then they go from March to June because we don't like to have classes during January and February due to the weather. So we were due to start in the middle of March 2020. And so, as all of you I'm sure know, we had to pivot and be more creative with how we implemented the program. So that spring semester was a bit of a wash. We had a few courses online via Zoom that first semester. That first pandemic semester, but we really worked very hard to make sure that we came back with a full slate of courses that in the fall of 2020, and we did. We had about 40 classes that fall, and then this past spring, I think we had somewhere around, or maybe we had 30 classes that fall and 40 this past spring. And we're really excited to be coming to you this fall with 50 courses. Most of our courses are still offered via Zoom because we had to plan them so far in advance that we really we didn't know what was happening in the fall. And at this point, I think I'm starting to feel like maybe that was still the best decision because of what's happening. Like mask mandates are coming back in Provincetown here on the Cape, and certainly in like California. So I think we just maybe still don't know. So I'm feeling a little bit better about my decision to offer most of our classes via Zoom this fall. We do have a few classes that we are planning to offer in person. One of them, I know some of you might know the man that's teaching the class from other venues. His name is Gary Highlander, and he's teaching a course on the Civil War and Reconstruction. That's Monday starting in October. And he's a very popular instructor that worked with a program that was offered at Wheaton College with seniors. So if you're feeling safe and want to participate in person, that will be the plan. Of course, if anything changes, we will let people know as soon as possible. We have a dance course and one other course that will be in person. Okay, so let me just go back to my notes here for a minute. So what is Zoom? Well, you're here. So all of you are adopters of Zoom and technology. So you can understand how you come into this space and you can have a learning experience right here amongst the squares. So that's how our classes are offered. Your instructor is the host of the class, and him or her delivers the class in this setting. Some classes are really big and they might have 50 people. Others are very intimate and they might have 8 people. It just depends on the subject matter. So it gives you flexibility. I think there's some people that like a more intimate setting. You're able to maybe have a bit of more interaction from the instructor, maybe a little bit more conversation. And others, certainly to our instructors that are very popular, they tend to have bigger courses, and people are usually happy with that as well because they like the way that that instructor delivers the program. Okay, let me just go right back to my notes here. So what is senior college? Well, it's an enrichment program and a learning program for adults over age 55. And the way that we offer the program is via courses, or what we call courses, and they are short term. They're offered either 4 weeks long or 8 weeks long. And we offer courses in a wide variety of subject matters, including arts, history, equity, personal improvement, health, science, current events, policy issues, psychology, dance, genealogy, science, and more. Maybe Kathleen, if you want to just pop our website into the chat, that would be helpful, because then people can, if you haven't been to our website before, you might want to save the link so that you can look later. Our course schedule at a glance is posted on our website for the fall, and our course catalog is posted on the website as well. And all of those documents will give you really a lot more in-depth descriptions of the courses we have planned. It gives you the time, the date, the duration. It'll give you a biography in the course catalog of the instructor, so you can look at the background of him or her and see, in more depth if you're interested in what we have to offer. Our instructors are we have a mix. So a lot of our instructors are Bridgewater State University faculty members, full-time faculty members who are tenured. They have done research in their field. They are content experts. They are professional educators. They know how to manage a room. They know how to deal with a disruption. They are good at lecturing. They're really sophisticated educators. But we also have another group of instructors who are folks that are experts in their field. They may be local folks who have just a passion about a specific thing. Dave Moore comes to mind. His thing that he's really interested in is the history of the town of Bridgewater. And people said to me, you really have to have him teach a class, and he's great. Or we have a woman that teaches origami, and she's been teaching origami for years. She does not have a PhD that I know of. She may, but she's a really good instructor. So there's a wide variety of the types of people. Some of our people are actual practitioners working full time in a field, and they just happen to have a specific knowledge, and came to us via a community partnership. We also have several instructors that were members of the senior college. So these are people that are curious seniors. They are, have a significant background or interest to, share with you, and they put a lot of time and effort into their work, into delivering the classes. I will let you know that every person that delivers a course in the senior college is doing it because they're passionate about older adults and are passionate about sharing, learning, helping you all to learn something new. They're paid a very, very modest stipend to deliver the courses. They're not earning a living by participating in the senior college. So I like to say that up front in case, everyone can be given a little bit of grace to know that the stipend really just kind of is like a thank you, but not really a way that they're making a living. A lot of senior learning programs actually have volunteers teach classes, but here at the university, it was important for us to provide a small stipend for our instructors, just, to help thank them for their time. Okay, what I'm going to do right now, because it's a lot of me talking, is I'd like to take a little bit of like maybe there's a lot more that I want to cover, but it's hard to pay attention when just one person is talking. So I'd like to ask a question to those of you that have participated in the senior college before. If there is someone that wants to, a few of you that want to make a comment or two about maybe something you learned or an experience you had or a friendship that developed or anything really about something you've experienced thus far in your role as a senior college participant. All right, and you can raise your hand. Okay, I see. Evie, did you unmute?
I did.
Okay, so we'll do Evie and then we'll do Jan Thompson.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Evie.
All right. I started taking these courses right from the very beginning downstairs in the library. I have absolutely loved every one I took, and it's been a great variety. Last semester, I took quite an interesting combination. I took the course on the rise of white supremacy in the United States because I realized that I was probably very naive, which immediately I found I was very naive. And I learned so much about what white supremacy consists of and the fact that we have 15 groups right in Massachusetts, which absolutely floored me. Nan was a wonderful instructor. And in contrast to that course, I took the course on origami. I figured that was a nice blend. And I loved that. And I wouldn't have thought you could do origami virtually. But again, our instructor, Andrea, did a wonderful job. She had all kinds of cameras set up so we could see her hands right up close. And so those are two that I have taken, but I've taken so many more. I think it's a wonderful thing. I truly do for us elders.
Oh, thank you so much, Evie, for that testimony. That's really wonderful. Yes, and I know that you are one of the most eager origami students that we had for sure. So thank you. And she's back this fall, and she does have a very sophisticated camera setup. And I think so. If you're hesitant at all, like how could I learn that via Zoom? Trust me, the instructor is a real pro for sure. Okay, so let's do Jan and then Cindy Rose.
Hi, I've been doing the senior college for a couple of years now, really since it's been on Zoom, and I love the fact that it's on Zoom. Like, you don't even know what I'm wearing right now, and but what I really love about the courses, though, is that you can participate as much as you want. Like there might be reading lists, but there are no quizzes. So you can read as much as you want, as little as you get into the subject, as much or as little as you want. Just sit back and listen. Even, you could even be doing other little things and my kitchen's right there. I don't like doing dishes, so I can't say that I was actually there doing dishes during any of the classes, um, but I could have. And I also took so many of the courses. A couple of them like would overlap, but because they generally run every like about 1 hour once a week for like 4 weeks, they're really just like an introduction to different subjects. And also there have been a couple that actually were an interest of mine because I'm a retired psychiatric nurse. So there were a couple of really good ones. One on deja vu and tricks of the mind, just really interesting things of how that happens, and it, a lot on art as well. I've loved most of every one of the instructors is terrific. There were some that um, drew my attention more. Unfortunately, John Winters, who has been doing some, isn't this time. He's into drama and theater and like that. So quite fascinating being able to like watch a play that he would put, on YouTube and then discuss it um, afterwards. We'd watch it, not during class, but so it's just, there is so much. I think the email even said something for everyone, and there really is. And for $85, I mean, 50 classes, it's unbelievable. And I've signed up for, well, not all, but pretty close. So if you join, you'll see my face a lot. So thanks,
Oh,
Jennifer. And I really
oh,
hope you guys do it.
oh, Jan, thank you so much. That's, I swear, none of these people were planted, but I mean, they could do a commercial for us. So, one of the courses that Jan mentioned is called Deja Vu and Tricks of the Mind, and it's being offered again this semester with Caroline Stanley. She's a renowned psychologist, professor at Bridgewater, and is one of the examples of a real pro instructor who can deliver a lecture really beautifully. And I watch all of the recordings of her classes, and I'm mesmerized. I watch them while I'm doing dishes or whatever. So strongly encourage you to check out that course if you're interested. Okay, last comment for this section is Cindy Rose.
Well, I don't think there's much left for me to say. I think pretty much said, but I agree with the deja vu. And I have to say that in the beginning, there was a course on security IT, and he did mention LastPass. And I have to say that and it's about saving your passwords in one place. That has helped me so much. It's absolutely wonderful. And he even allowed me to email him back and forth when I didn't understand things. And so he was great. I can't blame that. The deja vu is awesome. And I am thankful to my brother that's going to teach the course on ancient history in Egypt. And he is a wonderful talker. I'm just promoting him because he has pretty much done this for all of my grown-up life, and he has like taught my kids so much, and he's a great talker. So I'm just putting in a little point for him. But anyways, all the courses are great. It doesn't matter what you take. I have enjoyed every single one. Definitely worthwhile. Thank you.
Oh, Cindy Rose, thank you so much. Yeah, this is an example of, an instructor that if we weren't online, we would never be able to use. I believe he lives in like Pennsylvania, right? Or somewhere.
He lives in Arkansas, actually.
Arkansas,
He's a
yeah.
professor from University of Arkansas.
Even further. So his course is Excavation and Interpretation of Ancient Egyptian Skeletons in Cemeteries, and it starts on Friday, November 5th at 11:30 a.m. I'm really excited. I've had a real interesting time getting to know him and have him deliver a course for us. Okay, thank you so much for that, all of you. And so the good thing is you touched on some of the things that I plan on talking about. So, okay, we mentioned that it's short-term courses. We talked about the type of instructors. The fee, yes, so someone mentioned. So the fee is $85 per semester. This is the fee that will be the same fee. Oops, I think someone's sharing their screen. Hold on. Someone's only host. There we go. Got rid of that. The fee is $85. We do commit to having the fee be only $85 for at least a full year from now, and likely much longer. It did go up from last semester. We never imagined that we would be in a place where we would have 50 courses. And of course, the more courses we have, the more instructors we have. So, but still our program is very affordable. It's less than 40% compared to some of the other programs. Although we think some of you probably would enjoy other programs and maybe would even participate in both. But we're proud of the fee that we offer, that it's really at a lower price point than some of the other programs. We also offer a scholarship program. So if you know of someone, or if you yourself want to participate and the fee is a barrier, just send me an email. That's all you have to do. We are very happy to be able to let people participate via the scholarship program, and there's no red tape, there's no paperwork. You just have to let me know. So keep that in mind, as you might have a friend or family member that might be in that position. Okay, so how to be some of the benefits of being a senior college student. So beyond the learning and the socialization, which we'll talk about a little bit more, when you join the senior college, you also become a student of the university here in Bridgewater. So for those of you that are local to this area, so if you're within driving distance, it is a great benefit. You can come to our campus and get a free parking pass. You can come to our campus and work out at the gym, swim in the pool, go to the library, use the services of the IT help desk, use the computers. So that's something to keep in mind, especially for those of you that are local. And you can get a student ID too. And so my understanding is that, a student ID can be helpful for discounts for things, maybe museums or whatever. So that's a nice benefit that we're proud to offer. Cindy Rose, do you have something to say?
Yeah, how do you apply for all of that?
So you have it automatically if you've already joined and paid your fee.
Yeah.
And once we get a little closer to September, I'll send out an email to all the current members to let you know how to get your parking pass and your ID and all that kind of stuff.
That's very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. So what else? So benefits include.
I have a question.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I don't know if you mentioned, can we use the cafeteria?
Yes, anyone can use the cafeteria. You would have to pay, whatever the cost is of the food. I don't believe we have a provision yet for like having people get on a meal plan. I just don't think the demand is there. But yeah, the public is welcome anytime to any of our cafeterias.
So it's possible that some of us could get together and meet at the cafeteria.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Okay, thanks.
Great idea.
Thank you.
Jennifer, can you hear me? This is Jackie. So it's $85 if you take one class or 10 classes, the fee's still $85.
It's $85 if you take one class or 50 classes.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, yep. I know people don't believe that. So yeah, spread the word. It is a open enrollment model. So you just pay the single fee and then you can choose all the courses. You can add courses if you want, you can drop them. The only thing I will say about that is that there is usually a couple courses that have limited enrollment spaces. So specifically, I'm thinking this semester, we have a course called Introduction to Basic American Sign Language. And that course with Glenda Caliendo has a limited enrollment of 26 people. There's 11 people signed up so far. So if that's a course that you're really interested in, then I would encourage you to join the senior college as soon as possible so you can secure your spot. But most of our classes are wide open and there's usually not an issue with any of the other classes, but those real popular classes, and Glenna is a deaf instructor. And so in order for her to efficiently deliver the class, it has to be at a smaller space. So if that's of interest to you, please let me know. Her classes are incredibly popular. We had a huge wait list for her last time. Okay, so.
I have another question.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm just curious, the $85 money that we paid, does that, any of that go towards the stipends for the teachers?
All of it goes to the stipends. Yep. So 100%. So you can do the math. We have 50 instructors times their, their stipends, which are $400. And so basically your fees, 100% of them go to pay the instructors. And then the university is generous in that they pay for the sort of operating expenses of this program, which include my time, other people's time, technology, all that other stuff.
Okay, thank you.
So I see a question here. So yes, from Diane in the chat. Just mute, mute when you're done, people. There is a little background noise. So Diana is saying, is the fee per year, per semester? It's per semester. And then Glenn is asking, are all the classes online? Almost all the classes are online. Oops, there's a few classes that are in person this fall that are planned to be in person. And of course, that's subject to public health protocols at the current time. So if the classes that we have planned in person can't happen in person due to COVID, then we would obviously shift those to online. Except for the dance class, that would be canceled. He doesn't want to teach online in the dance realm. So we'll have to just make do with that. Okay, I'm just going to circle back. We will get back to questions in a minute. I just want to go over the notes I've taken about how to be a successful senior college student, and I will ask the audience as well. So the first thing that I have in my notes is being able to communicate with us via email. So because there's so many members, last semester I think we had 230 members. It is important that you regularly check your email, because we will send you the links for the Zoom for the courses via Zoom to your email. We will often send you handouts or notes from an instructor or a link to a video via email. So it's important that you regularly check your email, and that you maybe check it before a class too, because you might get on and the instructor says, oh, I sent an article, or oh, I sent you a piece of material or whatever. You want to check your email regularly. So email is the official means of communication that we use here at Bridgewater State University and in the senior college. So keep that in mind. Good questions coming in via the chat, which I'll touch on. So Susan is asking, are the classes also recorded? Good question. Yes, most of our classes are recorded with the instructor's permission. So some instructors, there's a few that prefer not to have the classes recorded. I would say it's probably 93% of the classes are recorded, and then they are posted to a private website that only members have access to. So if you miss a class due to a doctor's appointment or a family obligation or a social obligation, you can go and watch that class later. You can also go and watch classes later that you didn't ever even enroll in. So for instance, the classes from this past spring are still online until September 1st. So if you were a member this past spring, you could go back and watch a class that previously happened. And you just go to this website and you hit a button and the classes play. That's a great question, Susan. Barb said, how about the Bridgewater campus in Southwest Yarmouth on Cape Cod? Is that use? No, I am the director of the BSU Cape Cod campus, and we have not been open since the start of the pandemic, and we don't plan on ever having senior college classes on Cape Cod, because there is a very robust program called the Academy of Lifelong Learning of Cape Cod. And so they're a great partner and friend and advisor to us, and we wouldn't want to compete with them physically in person. Let's see. And okay, so if a class is during the work time, can you watch them at a later time? Yep, absolutely. You can watch them at a time that works for you. Of course, participating live is a different experience than watching later. So, you'll figure out a mode that works best for you. Most of our classes are during the day, and that's because most of our members are, older. A lot of, our folks are retired, and that's when our instructors are available. But we do have a good amount of programs, classes that are offered in the evening as well. Okay, the second thing is, Staying organized is really important to being in the senior college, especially to those of you that participate in a lot of classes. So figuring out a way to manage all the links in the emails that I sent you, and we can, ask folks later about how they manage this, but that is important. A lot of times I get emails, I'll log into my email at 9 o'clock at night and I'll see someone has emailed me and said, "No, I lost the link." And it was a class that started at 7 p.m. We are not online 24 hours a day. It's really just me kind of managing that. So it's helpful if people can really figure out a system for managing themselves, because I will happily send you the link, but I can't guarantee that I'll send it to you in time for you to see the class live. So make sure that you'll figure out a system for organization, and we can ask how folks do that in a moment.
How do you register and pay?
Oh, how do you register and pay? Yes. So you would go to our website, and I can bring it up right now. Hold on one second, and I can.
It's in the chat too. The link in the chat.
Yep, it's in the chat. Here we go. So this is our website, and you can join our email list if you just want to get information about events like this. You can read our senior college frequently asked questions. And then if you keep scrolling to right here, we have a 3-step registration process, because in higher ed, things are always a little complicated. We'd like them to be more streamlined, but we're doing the best that we can do. So you would click here for the application, and that would be step 1 in the registration process. So you would complete this application, and then within about a day, usually less, you would get an email from us that would direct you to step 2, which is payment, and then the final step, which is selecting your courses. So it seems a little cumbersome, but it's, we've already had 70 people so far this semester make it through all the steps. So it's not as hard as it seems, but you do need to complete this first application. I'm gonna stop sharing that now. Okay, so in Kathleen just put the link in the chat again, so you can click on that link to get to the website. The other thing is, about, having fun and socialization. One thing I've noticed, which I didn't realize would happen, and it's been a real great happy accident, is that people tend to log into the classes early. You don't have to log in early, but it's nice. So people log in early, and I see folks having conversations, getting to know each other, having that kind of mimicking what you would do in person. So that's a way to be successful and kind of get to know one another, and people, see each other and say, "Oh, you were in this other class." So I would encourage you to do that. You can also form, an affinity group or a conversation group. And that's one thing we'll be talking more about this fall. We sort of have one going, or 2 going now, where we had people in a writing class, a couple of writing classes this past spring. And after the class, they really wanted to stay together and meet and talk. And they have kept doing that. And we make the links for them for the Zoom. So you can use our Zoom for free, which is nice. So keep that in mind. Maybe there's a class that you like and you want to explore something in more in depth, or read a book that the instructor mentions. Any of you could organize an affinity group or conversation group, and we'd be happy to host and help you facilitate that. And then the last thing that I'll talk about in being successful is just being a good Zoom buddy. So, staying on mute is important. Of course, the instructor has the power to mute and unmute you. We do have a few instructors that aren't that tech savvy themselves. So, it's important for everyone to stay on mute unless they're speaking, or unless the class is really small and you're sure there's no background noise. But I'm sure most of you have been on a Zoom where someone accidentally unmutes themselves, and then you can hear the background noise, or you can hear their dog barking. So just being a good Zoom buddy in that way. And then I always would encourage you to you can put your camera on. That's helpful for the instructor to be able to see your face and, you know, see how you're engaging. But also you can totally shut it off, and you should shut it off if you're walking around your house, or if you're having a side conversation with your partner, or if you're, you know, having to move from one room to the other, because we know it can be a little distracting to see someone. You know, the other day I was in a professional meeting, and the man, he picked up his laptop and walked into another room. So then he was standing, and I could just see his waist. I got so nervous. I shut his camera off for him. You know, but he was just readjusting and moving into the other room, but it distracted me. So just be a good Zoom buddy. Shut your camera off if you're doing other things. You know, if you're eating, you know, it's okay to shut your camera off. And let's see, we're seeing some, a good question. Okay, so the camera thing is I think we've covered that. So I see some good questions here coming in, or comments in the chat. Glenn is asking, curious if there would be any business related courses in the future, economics, financial literacy. Yes, I have the dean of our College of Business, Janine Davis Street, is planning on teaching a course on economics, and she's a fantastic scholar. So that's coming in the spring. We actually have another, Kathleen, who's the financial literacy lady?
Oh, Margaret.
Yeah, what's her name?
I'm blanking on her last name. It's Margaret.
We have a superstar woman at the university who does financial literacy. She runs whole financial literacy organizations. And so she is on my list to teach a senior college class. And I think she's taught one in the fall. So absolutely, Glenn, both good ideas, and we're working on them. And then Diane asked, do most people use this chat to ask questions during class, or raise hand, or just unmute and speak up? It really depends on the class. You know, a big class with 50 people and the instructor is delivering a lecture, I think a lot of times they will say, please hold questions to the Q&A period. But a smaller class, I'm thinking like the genealogy class, I know people just speak up and talk and kind of go back and forth. So it totally depends, and every instructor has a different style. Okay, and now I'm seeing a direct message from someone says, a tip not to lose your links is to move them from your box, your email, into a BSU file as soon as you get them. Yes, I agree. I think that's a really good idea. If you're savvy enough to create an email file within your email box just for the Zoom links for your senior college classes, that would be really helpful. But enough of me talking. So does anyone have any questions or tips for being successful and organized as a senior college student, or any general questions too? And you can just unmute yourself if you want.
Jennifer, may I ask when the classes actually start?
Sure. So the first class starts September 3rd. And we have a rolling process. So they start in September, but we have courses that start all the way through September, October, and November.
Thank you.
Welcome. And her name is Dr. Margaret Brooks. Yes, thanks, Glenn. Thank you, Kathleen, for that. She's amazing. So we will definitely have a class by her if she is willing.
Hey, I'm a real novice to Zoom, and I'm not even sure if I'm talking to you when you can hear me.
You are.
Thank you.
You are Ms. Chromebook 3216. What is your name? I'm going to change
Betty.
your name for you. What's
Betty.
your name?
It's Betty. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Nice to hear you. Go ahead.
I honestly don't know what I'm doing. And I wanted to ask, you were talking about the email. Are you talking about a personal email, or like a Bridgewater State, Betty at Bridgewater State. It's been years since I've been a college student, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and I am no good at technology at all.
Betty, you are so good at technology because you were here and you unmuted yourself. So like compared to how we all were in March 2020, none of us could unmute ourselves. Like you were doing really good. So we will use the email address that you give us when you register. The university will create a Bridgewater email address for you, but you never have to use it. Nobody has to use it. I would sort of encourage you to only use it if you really want to see what's going on in the university. But I will use your Betty at whatever email you prefer. And so that as long as you can email and know how to email, you'll be just fine. And you're here today. So that means you have access to Zoom. I did have a gentleman call me the other day who was so lovely. We talked for half an hour. He was 82 and he was so curious and so wonderful, but he literally doesn't email, doesn't have an email account. And I'm like, he could join and go to the in-person classes for sure, but would require a little bit more education.
How are the participants putting up those little messages at the bottom?
Just practice. So Betty, if you'd like, I can send you, or you could, if you know do you know how to email? Could you email me? Because if you emailed me, I could email you some tips and tricks for Zoom.
That sounds good.
Okay, so I'm going to put my email in the chat here, or I'm just going to say it if you want. If you can't see the chat, my email is j5reid at
I don't know what's lowercase or
all lowercase, all lower. Yep.
Okay, J5
read
IE.
Aria, yeah. So j5read at bridgew.edu. And actually,
wait a minute. I thought you said JIE. Is it J5?
Actually, it's j5read, and I changed it to in my square. You should be able to see my email address under my name now. See how I changed it?
I don't even see your name.
Oh, okay. So j5read.
REID or?
Yep.
Okay.
At bridgew.edu.
Bridge. Okay. At Bridgewater.
Just bridge, just the word bridge, and then the letter w.edu.
CCU.
.edu.
.edu.
Yep.
Right. Okay, I'm doing fine today.
You're doing good. I'm going to go ahead and mute you, Betty. Send me an email or give me a call even anytime. Our number's right on our website, or we can put the number in the chat too. And I will be happy to have a conversation with you offline and help you get a little bit more comfortable on Zoom.
Thank you. I didn't want to hold anybody else back.
No, you're fine. You're doing fine. Debbie asked me a question. Do we get an email before each class, or do we log into previous Zoom links for the rest of the class? Great question. So yes, you get one email from me and it has the Zoom link, and you use that same email and that same Zoom link every single week for the class. So it's one Zoom link per class. So if you're in the Power of Film, you'll get an email from me one day before the class starts, and then you'll just save that email or save the link and the password and just go back every week to that same email. It'll say in the subject line, the Power of Film, and you'll just go right there every single week. Okay, any other questions or comments?
Cindy Rose has a question.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Cindy Rose.
I just wanted to say that, just for a hint, what I do is when each class on the email, I write it down next to the class, the date that the email was sent to me. So then I can just, and I put it in my saved emails. And then I know to go back to that date to find the email for that class.
That's a good tip for sure. That's a really good idea.
It's the old lady tip.
I like it.
I've sent a question in, Evelyn Beal.
Okay, sure, Evelyn. I don't see a question. You want to just tell me your question?
I put it on the chat thing, or I tried to.
Oh, okay. I don't see it. Maybe it's like far up. Do you want to just say it verbally?
I didn't want to take your time, but I was wondering, can you send me something so that I'm not technical savvy either? So to be able to register and to pay and to select, I wanted to do the sign language and the white supremacy and the ancient history, Egypt.
Okay.
But I also wanted, can I pay by credit card?
You can. Yep. So why don't we talk offline? You want to just give me your email address? I think that's probably the easiest thing. Or your what? Yeah. No, I don't want to say your email in front of everybody. Can you email me, Evelyn, or call me?
And do you have a telephone number?
Yep. So give me a call tomorrow. Okay. So 508
508
531
531
2570. And anyone is welcome to call me anytime with any questions at all. It rings directly here to my home office via my computer. So call me anytime. If I don't pick up, just leave me a voicemail and I'll call you back. So 508.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. 531 2570. Okay.
Hey, Jennifer, this is
Yeah.
Jackie again. So I haven't done any of your classes. Are these classes chats and Q&A, or are there papers due or finals or anything like that?
So there's no papers, no finals, no tests, no grades. We try to do the best we can via the course description, the course catalog, and it will say usually in that course catalog, this class will involve conversation, or this class will involve lecture. So read through those course descriptions, because I think they'll give you a better sense of the type of class. But yeah, no, there's some class that is classes that are maybe a little bit more informal, but definitely the ones that are taught by our full-time faculty are more formal probably than some of the other classes. So you just trial and error. The other thing that people should know is that you can join a class, and if you don't like it, you don't have to keep going. You really can just test things out, go the first night. If you're not vibing with the instructor, or if the subject is not of interest to you, then you do not have to continue, and you don't need to let me know. You don't need to formally drop the class. No one will be offended. The instructor is not going to say like, where is Jackie Perone? Oh, she was in the class. They're really great. They're busy people. So you can test out as many classes as you like and see what you like and the type of style. Because I know when I first started at senior college, there were definite people that wanted to be lectured, want a lecture and enjoy a lecture. That's how a lot of you learned, right? With a lecture. But the style in education is evolving now. So it's more participatory. So some instructors like to really engage and have conversations with people. It's more of a collaborative learning style. So you'll have to just find what you like and go with that.
Okay, great.
Again, my name is Jennifer Reed. Just looking at the chat to see if there's any other questions. Okay, any other questions, comments?
Yes. Jennifer?
Go ahead, John.
Yeah. How many semesters are there going to be per year? Any plans on that?
So right now we've just been doing a fall semester from September to December, and then a spring semester or winter spring semester, which is from March to June. The hope pre-pandemic was to also have, museum visits and trips and guided tours. I mean, there's so much we could do as long as we can gather safely in person. We are thinking we have incredible instructors who have knowledge about the history of cities, and we could go to New Bedford and do a whaling walking tour. So the possibilities are endless. And right now we're just in doing the Zoom for the most part mode in the fall and in the spring.
So with the student ID, was that good for the whole year or just?
Yes. As long as you're paying both in the fall and the spring, you can use the gym. You could use it all summer. Like it would last you for the rest of the summer.
Thank you.
Good question.
Jennifer, it's Jackie again. I know Gary Highlander pretty well. And if anybody hasn't been to any of his classes, you have to do one, because he not only is a wealth of historical information, but he's funny and he has so many stories. He really pulls you right in. So if you haven't seen him, definitely do one of his classes.
Yeah, I mean, I heard he's a bit of a rock star. I've mentioned him at several senior centers and everyone's like, oh my gosh, you got him to teach a class. So yeah, I would definitely echo what you said. Good questions, or Barb made a comment. So we do have 2 information sessions coming up. We've already had one and it was recorded and it's on our website. You can view it on our YouTube page via the website. And we have 2 more coming up and they are different than this session. So this session was just me and all of you talking about senior college. The information sessions are run a little bit different. I give a short welcome and then we do a round robin of all the instructors and they tell you who they are, what they do, and what you will learn in their class. So if you're still on the fence, although I can't imagine that any of you are still on the fence at this point, but you might be. And if you want to hear from the faculty, you can either go and watch the first session or come to the 2 other sessions. So they are on Wednesday, August 11th from 6 to 7 p.m. And there's another one on August 23rd from 2 to 3 p.m. So we have 50 instructors. So every session we have about maybe 6 or 7 that come and give those spiels. So it's a different type of event. You're welcome to come to it. And you're also welcome to watch it later. What else? We have about 7 minutes.
Tell me the second date again. I got the August 11th one. What was the other one?
Sure. August 23rd from 2 to 3 p.m. And I will go ahead and just put both dates in the chat.
Okay.
And I'm also going to put the link to register for them in the chat. But if you're here today, you'll probably just get the Zoom link anyway. So you don't even necessarily have to register. Because I've been sending the Zoom links out to everyone on our email list. All right. Wow, there's still 42 of you here. I'm so impressed. So yeah, I wanted to let you know you can call me anytime. Good reminder to myself to email out Zoom tips and tricks, and there's a link to a great video on how to Zoom effectively. So I will put that on my list of things to share with you. But as far as technology, if you are here, then you're 100% capable of doing courses in the senior college. Like if you got into the Zoom, you are good to go. Like absolutely. Did I see a hand? Does someone else have a hand up? Kathleen, is there anything that
Yes.
you think I should say? Or
Only,
you wanna say?
only to ask everybody if they liked what they heard, to spread the word. And as you said, if they have any questions, just to reach out so we can answer the questions.
Yes. So, as you can imagine, we have a marketing budget of 0. So we really rely on our members and the word of mouth to get the word out about this program. So I know a lot of you already do that. So you're so generous and really letting your friends, family members, and neighbors know. And thank you to all of you that do that. And to those of you that are new, if you join and you start in September and you're really liking it, there's still plenty of time for people to join because the classes are starting all the time. And we just ask that you send an email to a friend or you let your neighbor know. So again, my phone number is 508-531-2570. And I wrote it also in the chat. And if you can see me, my email address is like right on it should be on my name. Kathleen, can you see my email address like written under my name? Yeah. So you can email me as well. Any other questions? Diane.
I just want to know, are you considered a senior advisor or do you just run this whole program? What is?
Yep, so I'm the director. My formal title is Director of Professional, Corporate, and Community Education for the College of Continuing Studies. So this is a part of my job, but I run other programs and do other initiatives and work with faculty and students within the College of Continuing Studies. So the College of Continuing Studies is sort of an umbrella for a lot of things that happen at the university, and this being one of them. So yeah, I've been at Bridgewater for 11 years total. My most recent stint is 6 years. I've been in higher education for 17 years. And this senior college has been probably the most rewarding program that I've ever had the opportunity to manage. I've gotten to know so many of you so well. I have friendships. I've had great email conversations and face-to-face conversations and lunches with many of you. It's been incredibly rewarding. I get way more out of this than you ever will. And I say that to instructors, and all of them afterwards say the exact same thing to me. You all bring such joy to our lives, and it gives us such pleasure and satisfaction to know that so many seniors are so curious and want to be engaged in, in reflecting on what's happening in the world and having really important conversations, and also just learning for the sake of learning and being engaged. I mean, we all know that, it's so important for us to keep our minds active, and especially during this really hard time that we've all just gone through and we're all sort of still going through. It's like, we took off the Band-Aid, but yet we take a deep breath and now it's like, oh, is everything over or not? And it's just been, a scary time. And this for me has been a professional saving grace during this period. So sorry, Diane, that's a long way to say what my title was. Sorry, the other Diane with her hand up.
Could you just repeat your phone number?
Oh, sure. 508-531-2570.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's 5 o'clock, so I'm going to sort of end the recording part of this. I will stay on for a few minutes if anyone has a question. And I just wanted to thank you all so much for coming, and I hope you will consider joining the senior college.